Hey guys, you ever go to the grocery store and you see all these seasonings on the shelf and you don't know which ones to buy and you're just not sure because you want to try something new or something different or something better than what you've had before? Well, today I'm going to be talking about a product line called Heaven Made Products. And the owner is a friend of mine. His name's Michael Pitre, and he is actually in Texas. He's local, so a real good guy. I've known him for many, many years. He's been making seasoning blends and actually injection marinades as well for about 20 years, or over 20 years, I should say. Really good guy. And today I'm going to talk about Heaven Made Seasonings. So let's get into it. My name is Kerry Stessel. This is the Foodie Club channel. I appreciate you guys watching. If you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of new videos when they're uploaded. And if you would, hit that like button to excite the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm for my channel. I'd appreciate it. And feel free to share this video with anybody that loves to cook and loves food. And I'll keep making videos. So I'm going to start off with the main, I guess, signature seasoning. It's called It's Incredible because it actually is incredible. And actually, before I get into that, one of the main things that I like about his seasonings, and there's a lot of good seasonings out there on the market, and I've tried many. I've got a pantry loaded with seasonings and herbs and spices. And one of the things that I really love about his product line is it's not loaded with salt. So when you go to a lot of these commercialized big brand names and a lot of companies that make seasoning blends, if you look at the ingredient list and you see salt as one of the top maybe 3 ingredients on there, then you're basically paying for a seasoning that's loaded with salt. Now, salt's cheap, and that's why a lot of these companies do that, to be honest with you, is because if they put as much salt as they can in a container, it cuts their cost down, and then the rest is their herbs and seasonings that they're selling you, and you're paying a lot of money for salt versus if you bought all the ingredients separate. So typically when I'm cooking, I like to buy, I do have seasoning blends and rubs and stuff that I buy that I like to use. But when I'm cooking, I prefer to use individual seasonings and spices and then add my own, sea salt or whatever, Himalayan pink salt or whatever type of salt I'm going to use for that dish. That way I can control the amount of salt and the amount of sodium. And some people, they like more salt, they like less salt. It's subjective, obviously, and there's nothing wrong either way. But I like to be able to have the control over how much salt I'm going to put into my dish or what I'm using. And that includes making blends myself, like a blackened seasoning or a barbecue rub or rib rub, brisket rub, etc., where you're going to combine these things, mix them together, and then apply it to whatever protein or whatever it is that you're going to be cooking with. So if you don't have the time for that, and you're not really big on paying a lot of money for salt in your seasoning blend, or you just want something that's low salt and more flavor, this is going to be definitely the line that I would highly recommend that you try. So it's incredible. It's very mild. One of the neat things, ingredients in here, is it has a, where did it go? Well, that's interesting. I guess I missed it. So, all the ingredients are very interesting. No, I'm just kidding. There was something in here I thought that I had read earlier. Maybe it's in one of the other ones, but I'll look for it and I'll see if I can explain myself in more detail later on. But I'm going to give these things a try. Now, I've used some of these. You can see I've used some of this one, and I've tried some of his other ones over the years. I haven't tried all of these now, so I'm looking forward to trying out some of the other seasonings that he has donated for me to do a review on. Or actually, he just gave them to me. We kind of traded some sauce for some seasoning, so it was a good barter deal for me. So I got to stock up again on some seasonings, but I tried these over the years and they're really good. I do like them and I do recommend them. But So this is it's incredible. It's mild. It's really good. It's a versatile all season, all around, seasoning. You could put it on burgers. You could put it on steaks. You could put it on baked potatoes. And you can see, it's got some pepper in it. And I'm not going to read off all the ingredients. I mean, you can probably go to the website and probably see and read the ingredients on each of these. But I did want to kind of go down the line and kind of taste these and give you guys a little bit of visual, I guess, feedback on the taste, if you will. So this one is, it's incredible. Really good. You get a little pepper, a little garlic in there, some other seasonings in there. It's got garlic, onion, parsley, black pepper. It's got a little sugar, cornstarch, and it's, like I said, these things are really they're really low on salt. The salt is very low on here. Yeah, salt's down the line. It's like 1/8 or 1/10, something like that down the line. But very good, like balance, nice overall. Nothing's overpowering in the seasoning blend. But overall, it's definitely a good all-purpose seasoning. You could even use that on vegetables, but it's incredible. The next one up is a blackened seasoning, which I'm really anxious to try this because I have not tried it yet. I do like to make my own blackened seasonings. There are some other ones out there that I do purchase that are already made for you that are pretty good. And there's a lot of good blackened seasonings out there. And if you're not familiar with blackened seasoning, basically what it is, it's a combination of herbs and spices, and you can kind of create your own. What makes it blackened is paprika. So if you were going to do like a blackened tuna steak, for example, which I love to do, I always advise people to, and the way I do it, is I season the tuna steak, the ahi tuna, like you would a beef steak. And you season it with the same types of seasonings. But the blackening is basically whatever seasonings and herbs that you mix together and you put on. You would either mix the paprika in with that blend, and that creates your blackened seasoning. Usually a little cayenne, a little spice in there to make it blackened, because typically blackened seasoning does have a little bit of spice. I've had it where it's pretty mild, but I guess it's it's preference. So this is their blackened seasoning. And it's definitely got paprika in there, you can tell. And it is mild. It's not a very, very spicy. And this one's really good. Now, I do get some salt on this on the front end. So it does have a little bit more salt, I'd say, than this one here. Good flavor, nice spice. I'm going to guess that it's probably cayenne that's in there. And this is a really nice blackened seasoning. So I would definitely try that on, seafood, shrimp, grilled shrimp, something like that would be really good. Obviously anything that you're going to blacken. You could put it on burgers too if you wanted to. That's the blackened seasoning. This is Texas Best Brisket Rub. And that's that one there. If I didn't show this one here, that's the blackened seasoning. And this is Texas Best Brisket Rub. So he does sell a lot of his products in the bigger containers to competition cook-off teams. People that do competition barbecue, briskets and ribs and stuff like that. So he does sell to several of those guys that are out there doing it professionally and competing. So I'm going to give this one a try. This one's good. It's really good. I tell you what I like. It's got cumin in it. You can taste that. Maybe a little coriander, I'm going to guess. You get a little bit of cayenne in there, so you do get a little bit of spice, but you also get a little bit of sweetness in there. So it tastes like it does have some sugar. It does have a little bit of sugar in there. It's about halfway down on the list, so it's not real high. Well, actually, it does have raw sugar up at the top, about third in line there. Chili powder. Cayenne, thyme, cumin, nutmeg, sugar. Really good. Nice. I'd be I would be interested in trying this definitely on a brisket. I would probably even try that on burgers. You know, I don't know if everybody out there, if you guys smoke briskets or not, but you could put it on burgers. Maybe even a steak if you wanted like with something with a little spice, a little bit of sweet, but it's a good flavor, really nice, good flavor. Salt wise, I'd probably say it's kind of medium on the salt, which you definitely want if you're going to use this as its intended purpose, which is brisket. Because typically the bigger the cut of meat, if you're doing like a pork butt or a brisket, a big piece of meat, you want to have a little bit more salt in your blend or in your seasonings that you use, because it's not going to penetrate all the way into the meat. So you want to usually coat it and let it kind of sit and kind of dry marinate, if you will, into the meat. So that way you get more flavor more deep into the bigger pieces of meat. But that one's really good. I like that. This one is Texas Best Rib Rub. You could say I've used quite a bit of that already. Made some ribs the other day, and they came out really good. It was a really nice seasoning. I seasoned it, the ribs, cooked them. I didn't smoke them. I grilled them, wrapped them in foil. I cheated. I did it in the oven, took it out, put it on the grill, seared it off on the grill. You know, put some grill marks, put some sauce on it, and made like basically your typical sticky ribs, if you will. But this would be really good if you smoked ribs, or if you were going to do like an instant pot sort of deal. Season it with that. I like after cooking them either in the oven, if you're doing ribs, or in a crock pot, not a crock pot, or instant pot. I like to put it on the grill afterwards and just give it some color, give it some sear. And then I hit it again with some of this rib rub at the end after it was cooked, and it came out really, really nice. Really good flavor, good seasoning, and that's this one here. The Fabulous Fajita. If you guys are ever looking for a fajita seasoning, this has got garlic, lemon peel, cumin, onion, parsley, black pepper, corn, and some other ingredients down the line. It is gluten-free. I guess they're all gluten-free. Believe it or not, I've seen some like char seasonings that have like a flour in it, which is kind of neat. It creates like kind of a crust for steaks, and you coat it with the seasoning with the flour in it, and it creates kind of like a char coating. Kind of interesting, but let's give this one a try and see. Wow. Wow. This one pops. This one definitely has a good pop. I like it. The flavor really is really vibrant. I wish I had some fajitas with that on it right now, because it's really good flavor. It's got like a bright citrusy sort of flavor to it almost, that just really pops. So if you're going to make fajitas with this, I would probably say you could use your typical skirt steak or flank steak. You can buy it at any grocery store and get a big piece of it. If there's any sort of membrane or fat on it, it's always best to trim that off. Just get it out of the way from the get-go, because otherwise you're just going to season some fat or something, the membrane or silver skin or whatever, and you're going to waste your seasoning on that, and it's not going to get into the meat. So it's always best to trim those if they're not already, trimmed. Usually if you get them like in the meat markets and stuff like that, they're usually trimmed pretty good. But flank steak and skirt steak is pretty good. You can also find sirloin, basically, that's been trimmed out for fajitas, and it'll say like sirloin for fajitas usually, and I know like H-E-B sells it, and some of the other grocery stores sell it. One of my favorites, and I gotta tell you, a friend of mine owns a meat market, and he introduced me into Wagyu, which, if you know what Wagyu is, it's just fattier beef. It's a lot tenderer, but it's kind of like a Kobe sort of type meat or beef, and so Wagyu sirloin flap. That's right. If you never heard that word before, or those words before, Wagyu sirloin flap, or at least sirloin flap. If you can find it and get it. My buddy at Cold Stone Meat Markets down in League City introduced me to that cut of meat. And I bought some from him when I was down there delivering one day, and I tried it out. Different recipe than this, but it literally like changed my life. It opened my eyes to a whole new world of fajitas, and just incredible cut of meat, super tender. We'd gotten like a 3-pound piece that was totally trimmed out, beautiful. There was not an ounce of fat or waste on the whole 3 pounds, so we trimmed it very, very well. But if you can get something like that, it'll change your world. The sirloin is good as well. If you can't find the Wagyu, that's fine. But I would season it with this. I would put it in a Ziploc bag, coat it both sides, Ziploc bag it. You can add a little olive oil if you wanted to, just to kind of moisten it up a little bit, but just like a light coat over it. Put it in the fridge overnight, and then the next day grill it. You know, some people like it medium rare, however you want it cooked. You cook it, take it off, make sure you slice it against the grain. So typically the flank steak, skirt steak, or sirloin is going to be long. The grain's going to go like this. So typically what I do is I'll cut the pieces down just so they're not as long, and I'll cut them down, take each segment, turn it sideways, and then cut it against the grain like that. Now personally, I don't have sizzling platters at home like they do at the restaurant, so by the time I get it off the grill, I slice it all up. It's already, you know, room temperature or below, and so what I like to do is I like to take it, the fajita, and I'll cook it, you know, medium rare, usually somewhere in there is my preference. And I'll put take a saute pan and put some butter in there. You could probably use a little bit more seasoning. Obviously taste it first to make sure it's, you know, if it's not seasoned too much or just right, and maybe not use any seasoning, but you can. And just kind of toss it in the saute pan with a little butter, or you could use olive oil if you choose to, and just kind of warm it through, just gently kind of warming it. You don't really want to cook it or fry it because it'll take it over the, you know, the medium rare point, obviously, into a well done. But at least that kind of warms everything up. But that works really good. But that one's good. I'm looking forward to trying that and making some fajitas on that one. So this is Amazing Cajun, and this is the mild. So that's Amazing Cajun right there. And then he also has Amazing Flamin' Cajun, which has double the cayenne than the Amazing Cajun. So you got that one, and then you got the Amazing Cajun and Amazing Flamin' Cajun. So this one's got double the cayenne, so a little bit more spicy. And then he's got the Amazing Blazin' Cajun, which this one actually has habanero in it. If you like heat, this one's going to definitely be calling your name right there. But I'm going to give these things a try because I don't remember if I had these years ago or not. That one's good, really nice. So I've had a lot of Cajun seasonings in my life. Some are real heavy salt. I like to make my own cracklins. That's another video that I might make if you guys want to see a cracklin, an easy, cheat way of making cracklins at home for a lot less than what they sell them for at the cracklin houses in Scott, Louisiana, which is up to like almost 20 bucks a pound now. Leave a comment down below. Say, I love cracklins, or I want to see a cracklin video, and I'll make that video for you guys, and I'll show you. But this would be a really good seasoning for cracklins. But as far as like a Cajun seasoning, like I said, I've had several. I have several in my pantry because I do like to try different Cajun seasonings because they are a, you know, nice, spicy, all-purpose type seasoning. Some of them are real heavy on the salt, though. You know, back to talking about the salt level and paying for a lot of salt, which is okay depending on what you're using it on and your preference of salt or not. But that's really, really good. I like that one. I'm going to try the Amazing Flamin' Cajun. So I'd say medium, about a medium salt level on those. It's not overpowering salt like, it's all salt with some seasonings in there. I don't get that at all. I get more seasoning out of this. This one, because it does have more cayenne in it, definitely has a little bit more spice. Now, cayenne is a pretty mild pepper overall. It's kind of around a jalapeno, if you know the jalapeno heat. Most people are familiar with cayenne heat. Cayennes actually can have like a natural sweetness to them, but that one's really good too. It's nothing overpowering. Even for me, it's pretty subtle. But if you are not really into spicy food, I would probably just stay with the Amazing Cajun, and I think you'd be happy with that. If you want just a little bit of a kick, this one here. And here we go with the Amazing Blazing Cajun with the habanero in it. I'm anxious to try this one. I'm a habanero fan. So that one's good. So basically the same, it's like the same seasoning blends, these three, but with the added cayenne, the added habanero. This one's really good. Habanero, the characteristic of a habanero. So I taste this one, I get the same seasoning, medium salt I'd say on that. And then the habanero characteristic typically will come in a little bit later. So you'll kind of start feeling it a little bit later. And the characteristic of the actual pepper itself is it'll typically hit you in the back of the throat. Sometimes you'll get like a little cough, but you'll feel the burn at the back of the throat. That's the habanero. So, interesting fact about habaneros. But really good. It's nothing melt your mouth. I don't think it would like destroy your taste buds or anything like that. But if you do like spice, this one would probably be a good one to go with. He's got it rated as hot. Of course, heat is so subjective. It really just depends on what you like as far as heat level goes. But you could also use that sparingly. Now, what's nice about spicy things and mild things is when you have something like this, if you like spicy, you know, the key to keeping everybody in the family happy is you get the Amazing Cajun, and then you get the Amazing Blazing Cajun, and you basically season your food with this. And then if, you know, you like it personally hotter and your wife doesn't, or your kids don't, like me kind of, you know, I can't make a big pot of chili as spicy as maybe I would prefer it to be. So I make it the way everybody would enjoy it. And then on my plate or my bowl, I can add this, just sprinkle it on top afterwards. And I'm happy, the family's happy, everybody's happy. And that works out great. So you get the best of both worlds. So that's my advice as far as keeping everybody happy and not making a dish that's to your heat level that nobody else is going to enjoy, because you don't want that. Trust me. You got to keep the family happy. You got to keep the wife happy. I know. Trust me. So, but anyway, so this is his product line. There's a couple other products on the website as well. But Michael Pitre, really good guy. You can probably find him on Facebook. If you have any questions, reach out to him. I'm sure he'd be happy to answer any questions. But it is Heaven Made Products. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. heavenmadeproducts.com. That's the website. You can order there. He is in Texas. These are made in Texas. Good guy. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, please give it a like. You know, help that YouTube algorithm for me. Subscribe, hit the notification bell if you like the video, and I'll keep making the Foodie Club videos. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope this helps. If anything, you know, you guys learned something today about spices, hopefully, and what you're actually paying for in ingredients if you're buying a spice blend at the grocery store, and what you would prefer to pay for other than salt. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. My name is Kerry Stessel, and this has been the Foodie Club review of Heaven Made Products. See you guys on the next one. Thanks.